Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Bakes in a Box, the podcast where we talk about baking, business, and being functional adults, even when we don't want to.
This podcast gives you fly-on-the-wall access to conversations that two busy entrepreneurs would have on a regular basis. A little bit of whinging, a little bit of whining, and also some helpful tidbits to use on your baking journey.
Find out how two best friends ended up running businesses just down the street from each other. From baking and making the things that we love to how to navigate the cutthroat wedding industry, we cover it all.
It's time for another episode of Bakes in a Box. Let's get into it.
That's all. Okay, but JK, because today's episode is all about Jess.
Oh my goodness.
Who's that girl? It's Jess. Love that for you.
Thank you.
Jessie, babes.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us about yourself?
Sure.
Who are you? What do you do?
So complicated. There's so many things.
Why do you have to go and make things so complicated?
I think we should probably kind of run this as like an interview type situation with like questions, because I honestly feel like I can just go on a little bit of a rant.
I will.
And then
see the way you're acting like somebody else gets me frustrated. We love you, Avril.
Canadian Queen.
Oh. Shania's mine, actually. But.
I know. Okay. Getting to know you. Getting to know all about you.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna ask you the same question.
Tell me about yourself. I mean, we can just wing it, but I think it would be, for structure wise, like especially when we go to your episode, to kind of follow the same layout would just be smooth. That's amazing. I love those questions. Those are great.
Does that work?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, and the tell us about yourself can be whatever you want to say, you know? My name is Jessica. I'm a tall drink of water. Oh no, from Kitchener, Ontario. People see me and they know I'm a supermodel.
Yeah. Oh, stop it.
Everyone asks me, how's the weather up there?
They say, how's the air up there? Like
clean.
Somehow it's clean.
Clean.
Not that foggy car exhaust fumes you got going on down there.
Dead. Okay, are you ready to be interviewed by me?
I am so ready.
I hope you are, because
here we go.
Get ready for it.
Are you ready for it?
Did I call you Jessie just then? I think I did.
You did. It's fine. It's okay.
So one thing that you have to know about Jess, I was like, yeah, what nicknames do you hate? She's like, I hate Jessie. Now all I do
is call her
Jessie.
Thing is, I'll still answer to it. It's not like I'm enraged, but everyone has those things where they're just like, you know, I prefer not to be.
Like, I just don't like it. I'm like, oh, okay, heard.
So that's all I'm going to call you now.
I never do it out of a place of just.
It was funny because it's funny because people will just call me. I'll be like, they'll ask me my name. My name is Jess, or I'll say Jessica, and they're like, oh, okay, great. So Jessie, it's like you just out of the gate just started calling me Jessie. Like, I don't know you.
I don't know you. Don't
We're not on that
nickname.
level.
Yeah, I heard.
Of friendship. Anyway,
heard. Jessica.
Yes.
Tell us about yourself.
Sure. So I am a 37-year-old Kitchener born and raised lady.
I don't know why I really wasn't expecting lady.
No, how do I say that? No, I have a lot of love. I got a lot of love. I love bringing up Kitchener. I love bringing up my hometown. It's honestly one of the first things when people ask about me or anything like that. I immediately tell them where I'm from, because I've only lived really one other place, which was Toronto, and
the trash bin.
It's
just kidding.
A mess. But all I wanted to do was be back home. I got a lot of love for my city, and that's why I wanted to build a life here, and also have my business here in Kitchener. But yes, I am a 37-year-old lady who's married to a wonderful man named Michael. You will hear me talk about him quite a lot, and I do poke a lot of fun at him and talk about things that drive me crazy about him, but he is the most loving, and supportive man I think I've ever met. And I also have a beautiful son named Oliver.
He looks just like you.
I cloned myself. I created a little mini me, and I'm so proud of that. I'm just so, I come from a very large family. I have 3 sisters, and all of us look adopted. All of us look so different. There are certain features where people look at us and they say, oh, your smile is a little the same, or your nose is a little bit there. But whenever people see us together, they think we're just friends because we're all so very different. So to have a child and have him look like me, I get so, like, I get a huge smile on my face whenever people tell me that. But he is honestly the light of my life. And I know that you hear that a lot about people that have kids, but he's definitely my favorite thing I've ever baked. That is for sure.
I love that. I love that. Okay. So obviously, well, actually not obviously, I don't want to lead the witness.
No,
I don't want to lead the witness. When you have time on your hands.
Yes.
What are some of your favorite hobbies?
Oh my goodness. I love crafting. I love art and crafts. My hands, I have very idle hands. My hands have to stay busy at all times. So even when I'm, I love watching movies. Yeah. I love crime thrillers, but also like a Love Island girly as well. Like I love the drama, but I'm always crafting, so I'm doing embroidery, or I'm doing felt work, or I'm drawing, I'm sketching, but I have a huge art background as well. I went to the University of Waterloo for fine arts. Waterloo water loo where I have my bachelor's in that as well, so definitely a huge art background, which leads to my hobbies being that. But
love that. My gosh. Okay. How many hours a week do you spend on your hobbies?
Probably too many hours that I should be focusing on other things. But I have a look
of shock on my face.
I would say at least like 10 to 12 hours.
My God.
A week.
What a blessing.
I know. Again, hours that I should be. Every week is different. I mean, there are some weeks where there's a lot, but a lot of times the crafting stuff that I am doing are actually things for the shop. Sure. So I create a lot of artwork for the shop, like signage that I make is all flowers around it, and there's calligraphy and things like that. So I apply a lot of that into my work as well. Doing sketches for customers, like a lot of the time I'm just cakes that I hope to do in the future. So it's still a little business related, but it's definitely kind of, my spare time. Yeah. What I should be doing my taxes.
Oh my God. Let's not. It's our end of year this year. I mean, it's our end of year this month. I'm
out of it for a couple months, but.
Okay. Well, cool. When did you start baking?
So I started baking. I was always baking. Coming from a really big Portuguese family, food is really the central of everything, which is, for a lot of cultures, it's what brings people together. But I always had such a huge sweet tooth. Yeah. Cookies and cakes and cupcakes and things like that. So I would be doing a lot of baking just at home, just for my family. But I would say in my late teens is definitely when I started. After I graduated University of Waterloo, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was working in a warehouse at the time, in an office, absolutely hating my life.
What was the company?
Not about to call it. It wasn't like the business, but I was literally doing like accounts payable was what I was doing. And I mean, it was a job, and I was thinking, well, I need money. Yeah. But I was constantly like baking for my coworkers, and one of my coworkers there was like, you should do this as your job. And I was like, okay. So then I quit, and I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all the way. And I moved to Toronto, where at the time I thought maybe I'll go into culinary. So it wasn't specifically baking, because again, I wasn't like too sure if I wanted to be a chef in the sense of working savory and sweet, but as my school journey went on, I realized that baking was what I wanted to do. I was in competitions for baking and all that kind of stuff. And that's where I found my true passion is baking, and chocolate work and cakes is where I was really having a lot of joy, as well as eating it all. So I knew that that's what I wanted to do.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. What's your favorite thing to make?
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Let's do two, because I know this is a very hard question.
that's a very hard question.
What's your favorite thing to make and eat?
Ooh, okay.
And what's your favorite thing to make and like sell? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So my favorite thing to make is bread. Any type of bread, like a cinnamon bread or even just a classic like milk bread.
Yeah.
Because I just love when it's, fresh out of the oven
Sure.
and you cut into it and you put that butter on and it's melting with like some jam. That's definitely my favorite thing to bake, and is my family's favorite thing that I make. So any family function, I bring the bread.
Love that.
Bring the bread.
I bring the bread in more ways than one, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey. Yeah. So I bring, that's definitely my favorite thing to make. There's something so satisfying of seeing that bread like activate and proof and your little bread baby is growing.
Yeah.
It's that's definitely like my favorite thing to make and then to eat. My favorite thing to do in a business stance is definitely making fondant toppers or sugar toppers, because I find a lot of, again, the crafting that I like to do, my art skills really come into play. So highly decorated and detailed cakes are definitely my favorite thing. One of my favorite things to make in the shop, as well as, decorated sugar cookies. I have a huge passion for those. They're definitely the things that I hoard to myself in my business that only I can do. But yeah, anything that's like highly decorated, or I'm able to utilize a lot of my artistic skill, is definitely my favorite thing to sell in my shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. When did you know that you wanted to start a business?
I was working at a bakery, not to be named, and just kind of seeing how it was being run and how people were being treated and how I was being treated. I realized, I'm like, I can do better than this.
Yeah.
I was seeing how things were being done and the environment that was being created, and I'm like, this isn't a place that I want to be. And I wanted to create a place or be part of a place where people actually felt joy to be there, because I was working at a bakery where I felt like the joy was just being sucked out of it. And that's when I knew that I wanted to start a business and be a part of something that was, just reflecting that enjoyment and that passion for baking. So I would say that was about probably almost 15 years ago now.
Wow.
Where I came to that realization, but it was definitely a long journey to get there, because I knew that it was going to be obviously a lot of learning I would have to do. Because I think one of the big mistakes that a lot of people can do when getting into any kind of business is just to jump in head first.
Yeah.
Without having the experience of what to do and what not to do behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. So in that thread, I'm so sorry, we're going backwards just a little bit.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit about your work history. Where did you work, and what did you make before you started a business? Let's stick to like food related things.
Yeah, food related things.
You graduated from culinary school.
Yes.
Do you want to give a shout out to your alma mater?
Yeah, so
You really had to think about that.
I had to think, where did I go? I went to Humber College.
Hey, Humber College.
Humber College in Toronto is where I attended culinary school.
Yep.
But after I graduated there, I immediately moved back home. I knew that no matter what I did, I just wanted to be back home. So I spent 18 months and I did the accelerated program to just battle through it, because it was a 2-year program that I did in 18 months so I could get the heck out of there.
Yeah.
Moved right back home, and my first official job in the baking dessert industry was at a chocolate shop. where I was making truffles and chocolate bars and breaking out all the time because I was eating so much chocolate. My poor dentist, my skin
in a perpetual state of panic.
Yeah. Like, why are you consuming so much chocolate? So that was like my first job. Unfortunately, that business closed down because the owner was moving away. And then I was working in a market. I was working in a market where I was making pies and bread and sausage rolls. And then I had a job.
Or St. Jacobs?
It was St. Jacobs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool.
And then I was, gosh, I really have to think about it. It seems like so long ago. And then I started working in a wholesale kind of bakery. I just gave Lenore the side eye because we both worked at the same establishment.
Did we both work at the same establishment?
It was a very quick we get back into that later, but and when we talk about how we met and those kind of things, but I worked there for quite a few years, and at the same time I was always doing things on my own, like my own little side hustle, I guess I would call it, illegally, of course, working from home,
illegally, of course,
for those that are able to have cottage laws wherever you are in Ontario and most of Canada.
Alberta, you can have
Alberta, you're allowed to have. You can't just bake from your home. You have to be in a licensed, approved kitchen by the city of wherever you are.
Separate to your home kitchen.
Separate entrance, all that jazz. Anyway, we'll get into that in another episode. But anyway, so I was doing that illegally. Don't come after me because it's way over now.
Statute of limitations.
Run
out.
And I will deny to the day I die.
Just admit it.
I just admitted it on a podcast. But yeah, and then I started at a lovely place called the Cake Box. So I mean, it seems like a very short CV of places that I've been, and I'm probably missing one or two, but if anything, I was just there for a very short period of time, or just like a training thing that I just can't recall right now. But the whole time, just trying to make sure that I'm doing things I was passionate about, whether I was doing it at home and a lot of my training to learn how to do cakes and things, I was just researching online, following like YouTube cake artists and things like that, and training myself because I didn't have a place at the time that could show me how to do those things. And especially when it came to like fondant toppers, a lot of my sculpture training from school, again, my fine arts degree, really came into play there. But I was then hired by a lovely lady named Yvonne, who owned a place called the Cake Box, which was a very well-established cake shop already in Kitchener that had been open for now a little over 20 years at the time when I got hired there to be mainly a baker, but I didn't care. I just wanted to be in that kind of bakery. So I started there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Started at the bottom. Now you're here.
Hey.
How many years have you been in business? And talk to us a little bit about your business journey, because it's not necessarily run of the mill.
Yeah, so my business journey is definitely one that I'm sure a lot of people have done, which is basically like not a takeover, so like
hostile takeover.
But Yvonne was wanting to retire, and she was basically waiting for somebody to come along that she felt that she could trust the business to and would have the same values and motivations to continue the business. And when I started working there, I think it became very clear to her very early on how passionate I was about it, how dedicated I was, and how much I wanted to be a part of it and own my own business. I made that very clear when I started working with her about that's something that I wanted to do. And so after 2 years of working with her, she offered me the business, and we started discussions about the sale and all that kind of thing and what it would entail. And at the same time, I found out that I was pregnant.
Dun,
so
dun, dun.
Dun. So it was definitely a very big adjustment to take all of that on at the same time, especially being very new and trying to make sure that the legality of it all, making sure everything is transferred in my name, what I can and cannot afford, and how I would have to change the business to align with my own personal goals and personal values while still maintaining what the cake box is and what I love about the cake box. However, Yvonne being a married woman, you know, Rob was also a part of the business as well. It was the two of them basically running that business together, handling all the admin, payroll, baking, you know, all that kind of stuff they did. And I knew that my situation would be very different because I had a child.
Yeah.
Basically the cake box was their child. They could focus 100% of their energy on the business. I knew that wasn't going to be the way that I was going to be able to do this and run this because I had other responsibilities. So definitely had to change a lot of things about the business to make sure it aligned with my lifestyle.
Absolutely. And how long ago was that? How long ago did you purchase the cake box? How long have you been running the cake box?
So this March will be 3 years.
Boo-doo-boo-boo.
Hey, yeah, so 3 years. And yeah, it's been a wild ride of 3 years of just when I think I have things under control.
Yeah.
Or you figure things out. Yeah, there's always something coming at you. But every year, every month, really, I feel like we get stronger and we, you know, change things to make sure that it's the business that I'm like happy with and I'm passionate about, because I'm the one that has to get out of bed every day to make sure that it's running, and I have a good team. And yeah, right now I'm very lucky that I have a great team that I'm able to trust, to be away from and know that things will get done. But yeah, making sure that, you know, your goals of what you want for the business and your, what's the word I'm looking for, where you have a standard, right? It's always making sure that standard is reached. It's something you have to work at every single day, because it will definitely drop down. Yeah.
If you're not careful.
Yeah.
Complacency is real.
Definitely real.
Yeah. Complacency is real. So speaking of goals,
yes,
what are some of your goals as an entrepreneur? You touched on a couple of them already.
I touched on a couple of them, but I think my biggest one is just to have a business that I can be very proud of. But on a personal level, I want to be able to have a business that I can step away from just a little bit and know that it will be okay. To be not just a good boss, but a great boss, and have a business that can run and just be okay at the end of the day. I know it seems very small, but it's really not, because every day can be something very different. But I just want the cake box to still be able to hold up the standard of being like one of the best cake shops in KW. And just to really see that keep happening every year is definitely a goal that I always want to make sure I'm reaching. For sure.
Absolutely. I love that. So you've been in business almost 3 years.
Yes.
Very close. What has been your proudest moment?
You know, it's so lame, but honestly, when I got the business license and I saw my name underneath it, was definitely the proudest moment I think I had, because again, it's something that I always wanted, to be running my own business, and to see my name underneath that as this is mine was an insanely proud moment. And also some of my team members as well. Like when I see some of the things that they create and that they're really proud of it as well. That definitely, those little moments here and there where it makes me very proud as a entrepreneur, as a leader, as a boss, to know that I could help them like achieve those standards or achieve that level of decoration or skill or anything like that. It makes me feel really amazing.
I love that.
Yeah.
And obviously with highs there are lows.
Oh God.
Are we ending on a low? Probably not. Probably not. We'll throw in another
with a nice better question.
Something.
Probably.
Yeah, we'll throw another question at the end. But what's been your lowest moment in business so far?
Oh my goodness. That's a tough question. My lowest moment was probably I was so exhausted. I had I think it was like an 87-hour work week. I hadn't seen my son at all that entire week, because I was like, by the time I got home from work, he was already in bed. By the time he woke up, I was already leaving for work. So I was feeling like emotionally drained and physically drained. And that same week, I had received 2 emails from customers that were unhappy with cakes they had received. And I also had been scammed at the same time by another customer who's, I won't get into it, but it was like, you know, over $1,000 that I had lost because of a scam. And looking back on it, I know that if I had been in my right state of mind,
Sure.
obviously I would have realized what it was at the time. But by the end of that week, I was messaging with my sisters, and I remember just being like, I can't do this anymore. I am so exhausted. I am so tired. You know, like nobody likes my work anymore. Like, it's just one of those things where I was trying to get myself out of this hole where I was. And what I had actually, like, I actually went on to social media, and I had just done a little story of just how I was just feeling, I was having a rough, like, business owner day. That's all I said. And then just the outpouring of people that were messaging me being like, we are so sorry, like, if there's anything that we can do, you know, like, I didn't give any details as to what it was, you know, or what obviously the scam part being my fault or anything like that. Like, I didn't go into any of what it was.
Wait, let's be clear. The scam part was not your fault.
Okay, thank you. But
right? Somebody who scams you, it's not your fault. Like, we don't all have scam detection systems in our brains to be like, it's a scam, it's a scam. The thing is that
there have been a couple times where, you know, a customer somebody tried to scam me, and I caught it right away. Because I'm like, I've heard of this. Like, my husband and I watch videos all the time of scammers and all those kind of things. So, you know, it was just one of those things, but it was just, you know, it was the circumstances of that week. But it's just because of that outpouring of people, I'm like, wait, it's actually gonna be okay. But that was honestly the lowest moment, where I'm just like, I try to be a very positive person. I think I generally am just a positive person, where I'm like, everything is gonna be great and we're gonna be okay. But that week was just probably the toughest week, where it felt like everything was going wrong. But yeah, the shining light, obviously, at the end of it was all those people that messaged me, and, you know, I realized that it was going to be okay. So, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's positive.
That's a positive. We ended on a positive.
On a positive. Okay, following up, this has been something I've been thinking about. I'm just going to ask you, just because I'm nosy.
Yeah.
When you get those emails from Google My Business that so-and-so has left a review, how do you feel?
So obviously it depends on the review.
Well, they changed the subject line, right? Google. Google My Business. They used to say, congratulations, you received like a great review, or like so-and-so has left a great review. Now they just say, so-and-so has left a review. Yeah. And then you have to open it.
That's very true.
To see what the review is. Yes. So in that moment where you see the email notification and it says so-and-so has left a review, what happens?
So before I even look at the review, I look up the customer.
Okay.
So in the sense that first I'll go through how the interactions were, or if they had emailed me first.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it said, whether it's a good review or a bad review.
Yeah.
But I just want to, like, I prep my mind first when I see that notification from Google first, because I want to give myself a little bit of a preparation, because Google reviews, we'll get into that. But yeah, just to kind of prepare myself first for how I should take this Google review. 9 times out of 10, a person will leave a bad review without contacting you first.
Yeah.
And that is such a faux pas. That is never anything that I would do, unless it was like absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
Experience. Is I would give the business a chance first. But And I'll always look at my Google reviews at the worst possible time, like before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Because if there's anything I really want, it's something to keep me up at night. Just looking at the Google reviews. But I think that was a pretty sketchy thing of Google to do, is not to take that away, because it's tough. Yeah, we'll get into reviews and customers in another episode for sure. But how do you deal with it?
Like when I see the email from Google, well, I get like the little like map pin notification like in the corner, and then I see so-and-so's left a review. Immediate like
heart palpitation.
Yeah, my heart drops to my stomach, and I go and I open the email, and it's like, congrats, you got a 5-star review. I'm like, oh, thank God. And then I back out, and I don't even like, I want to respond to them. I do, but then it means that I also have to address the negative reviews that are also on my profile.
You have so few. You have like zero. Like,
no, not zero. Well, there was one from like the fridge company, which I was just like, Cindy, babes,
so
get over yourself. Get over yourself. Just because I demanded my money back because you delivered me the wrong colored fridge, I asked for something specific. Yeah. Right? Whatever. It is what it is. I'm like, I can't have a black fridge in the front of my white storefront.
For a fridge company to like,
literally, the cakes don't look fresh. At that time, we did not even have cakes in our display, and I'm like, obviously, this is not a real review, and you've never been here before. But whatever. No, but yeah, there are few, but somehow those two negative reviews outweigh the 200 positive reviews.
Hate how that algorithm or whatever it is called is done. There are like, again, on our page as well, there's like almost 400 reviews for the cake box. It's been around forever.
Yeah.
And the amount of bad, like, it takes an insane amount of 5-star reviews to cancel out like even a 2-star review, which a 1 or 2-star review is going to bring you down half a point, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's not mathing for me.
It's not.
The math is not mathing. I don't understand.
I was literally, okay, so I was listening to another podcast, which I will name because I love it, Armchair Expert. I started listening only a year ago. I started the very beginning, and I'm almost caught up, if that speaks to how much podcast content I listen to in a week. I'm almost caught up, and they do like 3 now.
A week.
Yeah, and I'm at 2022. And it started in 2018, and I started listening last year. Okay. If it speaks to it at all. And Dax obviously studied anthropology, and he talks a lot about evolution, and he was like, it's an evolutionary response, our response to like a negative review. Yeah. Because it's like when we were hunters and gatherers or whatever, and we would have something that either was poisonous or would make us sick, we would remember that much more than like this juicy strawberry, because it was more dangerous for us to go to that thing that made us sick. And that's why when we receive like negative feedback or negative review, that sticks with us so much more than anything positive. And I was like, you know what? I think that makes a lot of sense, because like the dread when I get that email, I'm like, oh my God, what is it now? Oh my God, what is it going to be now? You know, it's like you slowly open it and you're like, oh, they were happy. Oh, great. Cool. And then you put it aside. But if they're not happy, you're like, I have to stop everything that I'm doing, look up to see what the issue was, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, and then you dedicate all this time to it. It makes you were having a great day. Now you're having a terrible day, and everything is awful. And it's like, does it have to be that way? I don't think so. I don't think so. But it's so interesting. That's just the way our minds and bodies work, because we're human, which is probably the worst thing you can be as an entrepreneur, as a human.
Just turn into a robot. It would make things a lot easier. Literally,
you would never care about what anybody thinks, about their expectations, about meeting them. You could just be like, I do this because I love this, actually. Like, I wake up every morning and get out of my bed because I've created a place where I want to work. And I want to go there and like find joy in it only. And if there was sorrow or sadness, it'd be like, oh, peach season is over. Or like, you know, oh no. Yeah. You know, the one TV show that I wanted to watch while I work today is not on.
It's not on right now.
What a bummer. Yeah. You know, as opposed to like, another human being has said something that they're not going to think about in 2 minutes.
They make their comment and then they walk away from it and they feel satisfied in what they did, and then that's fine. And they don't realize how devastating it is to somebody like, this is my blood, sweat, and tears that I put into this. And but again, we can get into that in another podcast, but I think that's definitely going to be like a whole thing we're going to discuss how to be a good customer.
How to be a good customer.
Yeah.
And then one for workers. How to not be mediocre when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
No shade. None of my employees wake up to be mediocre in the same way that none of my customers are terrible because they're not my customers. They just happen to be a person who purchased something from me.
Yeah.
But all of my customers are lovely.
Yeah.
And
the loyal customers that
you could be a first time person coming in and you're like a decent human being. I'm like, oh my God, I love
it. Doesn't take much. It does not take much.
Treat whoever is serving you like a decent human being. Yeah. Be kind. You don't have to be effusive. We don't need you to blow smoke up our butts. We know our work is great, right? Exactly. You don't have to tell us how much you love us or how much. We don't need to hear it. Just be nice. Yeah. Be kind.
Be kind.
That's it.
That'll be our thing for the end of this podcast. It just be kind.
Just be kind. Yeah, but Ellen DeGeneres used to say be kind, and it turned out that she
we won't use that then.
I'll have to think of something else. Be good.
Be good.
Be good.
Be good. Don't kick rocks. And
don't kick rocks. Oh, I hope you step on a Lego. No, that's what we hope for people we don't like. I don't know. How are you gonna end this? We can't say love you because that's already taken.
Yeah.
Although I do love you.
I love you too. Oh my God.
I don't know. Jess, I really enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about you. I think I knew all of those things.
You already knew it. You've heard it multiple times.
It might be because we're best friends, and it might be because we had to spend hours doing interviews for a small little TV show.
For a little TV show that we will talk about later.
Not this episode. Not next episode. You'll figure it out. The show will air before we talk about it, probably.
Yes, for sure.
We love to see it. How funny. Anyway, that's how my life works. You get a notification on your phone and you're like, huh.
And then your brain goes into that little tab for a second. And then you come back to the tab that we're currently in.
And you're like, yeah, like the active people who are listening, and Jess who's sitting here and be like, don't look at your emails. Be like, yeah, right.
Yeah. It's impossible. It's impossible. You will never see us without our phones when we're doing this because emergencies happen. Things happen.
The time.
Yes.
All the time. But we love it. And I'm really excited. Okay, so now we know a little bit more about Jess. If you guys have questions for Jess, you're like, hey, Jess, what about...
Or can you elaborate more on this thing that you kind of glazed over?
Yeah. Just very quickly. Just hit us up in the comments. First of all, we have an Instagram page.
We do.
You can find us at bakesinaboxpod. Mm-hmm. That's our handle.
Yes.
We also have a Facebook page. If you're not on Instagram for whatever reason, like your mental health, or you want to stay sane, or you want to avoid the toxic trait of comparison, then good for you, first of all.
Yes.
Really proud of you and congratulations. You can get us on Facebook as well. If Facebook is also the same thing for you, I don't know how to help. But you can email us.
Yeah, old school email.
Old school email also works. We don't have a voicemail box set up. It's something that we're open to.
Yes.
But for now, you'll just have to email us your voice note.
Yeah.
It's like calling, except you're not going to hear a voice on the other end, and you're just speaking into the void. But we are going to hear it.
Yes. And if you do send us a voice message and we like it and feel like it's something that we'll share, we'll play it on our podcast for other people. So things you want to talk about or share your own stories, we would absolutely love to hear that. So definitely send those our way.
Yeah. And if you want Jess's bread recipe, her favorite one, you'll have to pay her for it. Yeah. So $75 or dance, whatever one.
$75 or a video dance.
Dance. Take either. Doesn't have to be choreographed at all, but we do ask that you are wearing clothing. It feels really important. Please don't be naked. We never, ever, 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 ever want nudity. Okay? I just want to make it abundantly clear.
Is this how we're going to end? Please don't send your nudes. Please don't send your nudes to us.
Nudes. Oh my gosh, that should be our send nudes, but we mean noodles.
We actually mean noodles, ramen, pho. Oh, all day, every day.
Anything soup based, we'll eat it. We'll eat it. Those are the only kind of needs we want. Kinton, Sensohei, Crafty, Downtown Pho, Sunrise Pho.
I know.
Naming all the pho in the world.
If you like to sponsor us.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine if we were sponsored by a pho place?
Just pay us in nudes.
Wait, did I take you? I did take you to that place downtown when we were filming.
Yes, you did. Oh, so good.
A brisket?
So, So good.
Boy, oh boy.
You will hear us go on tangents about food all the time.
Yeah, well, it's 11 o'clock, which means that it's almost lunchtime.
Lunchtime.
It's very, very close to lunch. People are like, don't you eat lunch at 12? Yeah, but you start thinking about it at 10:30, don't you? That might just be me.
I feel like this is also why we have to come up with a slogan so that we can just cut it off.
Keep it funky.
Keep it funky and fresh.
Keep it funky and fresh.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Don't leave your baked cakes in the fridge because they'll go stale.
Don't forget to leave your cakes in until they're not raw.
Don't serve raw cake.
How long do your cakes have to be in the oven? What's the one thing that you're worried about?
I don't want that to be raw. Listen, I was doing it because they
we
made
have to
me
make
say
sure
it.
that we keep our cakes in until they're not
I
raw.
don't serve raw cake.
Okay, how are we gonna end this bad boy?
That's what I'm saying. That's why we need a slogan. But I mean, have an amazing day.
All right, that's it.
That's it. And
No, that was it.
get your bake on.
Oh.
Bye.
Get your bake on, and then I thought, oh, something with bakes and boxes. Maybe
Don't burn
we're
your
like-
buns.
Oh, maybe just like as we're chatting, it like slowly fades, and you can slowly hear the tick tick of the timer again.
Oh.
And it's just like, all right, that's it. Or just like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Because honestly, like I think most of this is going to end up like with us just like
a trail.
laughing at each
Just a
other, and then
trail.
like it'll just fade out and then go. I think that's the only way that we're until we either have a slogan or something that we can really wrap it up. We'll just keep talking forever.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna end with a timer.
Yes.
I should write that down, or I'm gonna forget.
Okay.
What's the opposite of fading? Crescendoing.
Ooh, yeah. Crescendos into.
Crescendo. Ooh. We love Latin.
We love fancy words.
We love Latin. It's a dead language, but we still speak it. Okay. That's it.
That's it. Yay. Episode 2.
In the bag. Thanks for listening to this episode of Bakes in a Box.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Have any questions or want us to talk about a specific topic, baking, business, or life, send us an email at bakesinaboxpod@gmail.com.
Find these details and more in today's show notes.